Hey everyone, how's it going? Today we are going to be talking about John Wick 4. I know we just did the first one yesterday. We're kind of doing it out of order. I apologize. But yeah, let's get into it. So I saw this last night, and I want to say this first. We're not going to get into spoilers yet, but I do want to say this first. I love all four movies. I think all four movies are well done in everything, but there is always a pecking order in everything, even if everything is loved. I think this is tied for last place for favorite John Wick movie. I know the second one's my favorite. The first one's my second favorite. From what I remember, Parabellum, which I haven't rewatched yet, Parabellum had little too much action in it, which is weird to complain about in a John Wick movie, but it did feel like non-stop action and everything, a little bit too high of a suspension of disbelief. And this one also had the really high suspension of disbelief, but there's also a lot of slow parts, almost making up for it in the third one. I feel if you were to watch the third and the fourth back to back, it would be a lot more improved, because it's a cohesive story. I feel that the first two tell one cohesive story, and the second two tell one cohesive story, along with all four telling a singular cohesive story. But yeah, I do feel that this one was suffering a little bit of setting up spin-offs. We'll talk about what I'm talking about in the spoiler part. But I mean, the fight scenes in this were amazing. They were goofy, like I was saying yesterday, over the top, and just funny things happening. I went and saw it with a friend, and he looked over at me at the end of the movie. This was his first John Wick movie. He goes, "So he got hit by 6 cars and would not stop falling downstairs at one point, and he still got up." And I go, "Yeah, because he's John Wick." And he just laughed. And that basically is the encompassment of this movie and these movies, is John gets the crap beat out of him in this movie, and he's mostly fine. We get some really intense scenes of, like I said, him falling down a bunch of stairs. That scene takes a good minute to a minute and a half of him falling down the stairs. He just gets up, gets a pep talk, and then goes up the stairs again. And then, there's a whole fight scene involving cars where not only him, but everybody else is getting hit, but he's, the only one that keeps getting up. He gets beat up, shot at, stabbed, and he still stands, which is always goofy and hilarious. And these fights are so creative. They always are, but these fights were very creative of their, placement and everything. The music with it was great, which always happens, but this one had a French version of Paint It Black in there during a fight scene, and I was that's a perfect fight song. I used to give Call of Duty Black Ops 4 or Black Ops 3 or whatever crap for using that song constantly, but it's good in a gunfight. And yeah, they're we get the Marquis being the main villain. He's a great villain. I know Bill Skarsgård played Pennywise, but just looking at him in a suit, I could see him playing either Yoshikage Kira or the Joker. He just has that subtle psychopath look when he's in a suit, just like Kira or the Joker or something. And the friend that I saw it with is the guy that introduced me to JoJo, so shout out to Alex. And I told him that, he looked at me, he goes, I could totally see him being Kira. But yeah, so that, and then we also get Donnie Yen in this as a character named Kane, who probably is my favorite character in the movie. He's just got some great scenes. Then we have another character named Mr. Nobody, who is chasing after John through the whole movie. Winston's a great character in this, as always, and Chiron is in it at the beginning, who unfortunately and ironically passes away at the beginning of the movie. That's not really a spoiler because it happens within the first 5 minutes. And I say it's ironic because this was all shot before the actor passed away in real life. But yeah. Anyways, I'm going to give this movie a 7 out of 10. So let's talk spoilers. So John is still being hunted down and excommunicado by the High Table. Winston, because he did not kill shoot John, is punished by Chiron getting murdered and the hotel getting destroyed. So in this too, John ends up killing the Elder, which causes a whole new can of worms to open. He's now being pursued by the Marquis, played by Bill Skarsgård. The Marquis also is the one that destroyed the hotel, so he's sending people after John, raising his bounty. I think it was like at 18 million, and then it jumps to 20 million, then it jumps to 26 or 7 million, something like that, by the end of the movie. So anybody that gives John safe harbor is eliminated, so they go to the Osaka Continental, where we get a whole samurai fight and introduction to Donnie Yen's character, who again is blind. Basically playing Chirrut Emwe again, which is pretty funny. But like the funniest part is they are trying to like take down all these assassins, and Donnie Yen's just sitting in the corner eating soup. And they're like, "Are you gonna do something?" And he gets up and he just does this like drunken blind man fight style thing. Uses motion detecting doorbells to see where people are. And he's good with a gun and with a sword cane, which is very cool. Him and John fight. They both walk out because they're, of course, old friends. But yeah, they both walk out this fight. But the owner of the Osaka Continental ends up dying. His daughter wants to take revenge, so that's the first setup to a spinoff. Then we get introduced to Mr. Nobody, who is like an amazing tracker, and of course has a dog, because somebody in John Wick has to have a dog in every movie. The Marquis then begins to raise John's bounty, causing more people to chase after him. He then finds a way to get back into his family so he can issue a duel with the Marquis to clear his name. The Marquis agrees. He says that Donnie Yen's going to be his proxy, though. So John and Kane have to fight. I skipped over a pretty cool rave fight scene, too, really quick. So in order for John to get back into his family, they have to kill the man that killed the original head of the family. So he goes in, Donnie Yen ends up showing up, and Mr. Nobody ends up showing up. So they have to play a poker game, which has probably one of my favorite lines in the whole movie. Anytime Donnie Yen makes a "I'm blind" joke, it is literally the standout line in the movie for me. Because like in Rogue One, when they put a bag over his head, he's like, "Why are you blinding me? I can't see anything." Like that line I love. And then this one, they're playing poker, and he goes, "I'm not a gambling man. Let me see my hand." And picks it up. Somehow knows what it is. But yeah, that just like cracked me up. But yeah. So then the fight breaks out, and John ends up killing the person that he was supposed to, along with all his thugs, of course, and is reinstated in the family, then issues the order, using Winston as his second, and the Marquis uses Kane as his second, and then proxies Kane into the fight. He then resets up John's bounty even higher, so everybody in Paris is chasing after him. Which leads to I want to say about 45-minute fight sequence that starts from him just being in the street to then he steals a car, he gets a car fight, ends up by the arch, fights in the streets in the arch, then gets to the stairs by the church where he's supposed to go, which is like 222 flights, I think they say. and he has to fight people up that. Donnie Yen then joins up with him and helps him out. Then they commence the duel. So the rule of the duel was it was a pistol duel. They had to originally take 30 paces. If both of them survive, they have to move up 10 paces. Both of them survive, they have to move up 10 paces again until one of them is dead. So they both, on the first shot, they both hit each other in the shoulder. Then they both hit each other somewhere in the torso area. I think John gets hit here, and then Kane gets hit here. So then, which right when I saw this happen, I knew what was going to happen. They get to the 10 pace. Kane shoots, John doesn't. John gets to the ground. John's shot in the stomach. So the Marquis decides he wants to finish John off. So he takes the gun, and then Winston goes, "You realize he didn't fire, right?" And then John shoots the Marquis in the head. So with that, John is free. Donnie Yen and his daughter are free. Donnie Yen's whole reason why he had to hunt John is because of his daughter. And Winston is reinstated as the manager, and the hotel will be rebuilt under the High Table's money. And with that, John dies. He walks a few steps and then remembers his wife and passes away. So I wasn't usually when character deaths happen, I get emotional. I didn't get emotional for this, mainly for two reasons, because they state throughout the movie, and they're completely correct, that for John, it's never going to stop. Once he kills the Marquis, the High Table's next, because somebody would reel him back in, obviously. And then after that, who knows, then he goes and becomes Kratos and fights God, or some shit like that. But yeah, so that. And then also, John's whole purpose is missing his wife. So he'll finally be able to reunite with his wife. So that's why I was fine with John's death. They kind of also set up Mr. Nobody to be the next John Wick. So I could see a spin-off with him, along with a spin-off with Donnie Yen and the Osaka's manager's daughter. And we're getting the ballerina later on. So I can see there still being movies in the John Wick universe that don't revolve around John Wick. So that's why I wasn't sad at the ending, but I did think it was a good ending. So yeah, it wasn't like how I was saying Shazam last week, yeah, Billy died, but why does it matter? This, it did matter, and it was a nice touch. But yeah, so that's what I thought about this movie. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Go ahead and go see it. And make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and comment, yeah, down below. So, have an amazing day. It's the Andrew Ryan, signing off.